Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at standard 6.ns.a1, interpret and compute quotients of fractions and solve world problems involving division of fractions by fractions. Before we start division of fractions, let's go ahead and take a look at our vocabulary term, reciprocal. To find the reciprocal of a number is to flip. So what happens is that our numerator becomes our denominator and our denominator becomes our numerator. So 8 is now 1/8, or 1/8 would be the number 8 or 8 over 1. So what is the reciprocal of 10? So 10 as a fraction is 10 over 1. So the reciprocal would be 1/10. What is the reciprocal of 3/4? We would flip the numerator and the denominator, which would be 4/3. Note that the product of a fraction and its reciprocal are multiplicative inverses. So what that means is that a number times its reciprocal would be equal to 1. So 2 over 1 times 1 over 2. 2 times 1 is 2. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And we can look at the second one as well. So 10 over 1 times 1 over 10. 10 times 1 is 10. 1 times 10 is 10. 10 divided by 10 is 1. So here these are called multiplicative inverses, and their product is equal to 1. This is a good place to pause the video and try these on your own. Write the reciprocal of the number. So 3/4, we saw that one already, that's 4/3. 5, that's like 5 over 1, so that's 1/5. 7 over 2 is 2/7. 4 over 9 is 9/4. So our step for dividing fractions, step 1 is to keep the first fraction. So we keep 2/8, change the division sign to multiplication, and then flip or find the reciprocal of 3/4. Once we've done that, it now becomes a multiplication problem, and we follow the steps from multiplying fractions, multiply the numerator, multiply the denominators, and then simplify if necessary. We call this process keep, change, flip, which is also referred to as KCF, not to be confused with KFC. So let's apply these steps to this example. So we're going to keep our first fraction of 2/8. We're going to, so that's a K, we're going to change the division to multiplication. And then we are going to flip or take the reciprocal of 3/4, which will be 4/3. Now we multiply as we normally would. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. And then we're going to simplify because we know that 8 and 24 can be simplified. So 8 can go into itself once, and 8 can also go into 24 3 times. So the simplified fraction of 8/24 is 1/3. Let's try a few more examples. 2/3 divided by 3/4. So again, keep, change, flip. So we keep our 2/3, we change our division to multiplication, and then we flip this to 4 over 3. Now, does the order matter? Yes, it does. You cannot choose to flip the first fraction. You must flip the last fraction. So we're keeping the first one, changing the sign to multiplication, and then flipping the last fraction. Let's go ahead and multiply. 2 times 4 is 8. 3 times 3 is 9. So here our final answer is 8/9. Let's try the next one. 4 over 9 times 15 over 8. In our next video, I'm going to show you how to solve this using cross-canceling. But I know we're working with some big numbers with this example, but we're going to keep it this way for now. And then in the next video, I'll show you how to simplify these fractions first and then multiply. 4 times 15 is equal to 60. 9 times 8 is equal to 72. This can be simplified. Knowing your multiplication table really helps. But if you're unsure, you can go ahead and list factors of 60 and 72 to see what the greatest common factor is. I happen to know that it's 12. So I'm going to divide my top and bottom by 12. 60 divided by 12 is 5. 72 divided by 12 is 6. So the simplified answer here is 5/6. Let's take a look at this error analysis. So describe and correct the error in finding the quotient. So here we have 2/5 divided by 8/9. And again, I always like to approach these problems by solving them myself. It helps to easily identify the error the person made. So 2/5 divided by 8/9, and we're doing our keep, change, flip. So we keep that 2/5, change the division sign to multiplication, and then we rewrite the 8/9. So here I identified that this person decided to flip the first fraction. They did change to multiplication, but then they kept the second fraction the same. So here we did talk about that the order is important. So this is an incorrect step. So this is the mistake that the person made. So based on that misunderstanding that they had, let's go ahead and solve to see if we would have gotten the same answer that they did. In this step here, where they cancel out the 8 and the 2, this is an example of cross canceling. I'll show you that in the next video. So we have 5/2 times 8/9. 5 times 8 is 40. 2 times 9 is 18. Now, if we simplify that using the number 2, then we would get the 20/9 that they have. But this can be simplified further. We can actually convert this from an improper fraction into a mixed number. So based on these two identifications, we would say that the error that they made is that they incorrectly applied the keep, change, flip, and that they did not simplify their final answer. An art teacher had 2/3 gallon of paint to pour into containers. If he poured 1/8 gallon of paint into each container until he ran out of paint, how many containers had paint in them, including the one that was partially filled? Okay, so let's go ahead and set this up. So we're working with the same units. The art teacher had 2/3 gallons, and he's going to pour 1/8 of that into as many containers as can fit. So we're splitting up the 2/3 gallon. So we're going to use division. Now let's go ahead and do our keep, change, flip. So 2/3 times 8/1. 2 times 8 is 16. 3 times 1 is 3. And then we can simplify this using division. 3 goes into 16 5 times with a remainder of 1/3. So now how many containers had paint in them, including the one that was partially filled? So we have 5 completely filled containers and then 1 container with only 1/3. So the answer is 6 containers. A road crew spread 6/8 of a ton of gravel evenly over 3 feet of road. How many tons of gravel did they spread on each foot of road? So the total amount that they're spreading is 6/8 of a ton, and it's over 3 feet of road, and we want to know how many tons would be on each foot. So 6/8 is going to be divided by 3, and we can write that as 3/1. Now we're going to go ahead and apply our keep, change, flip. So 6/8 times 1/3. 6 times 1 is 6. 8 times 3 is 24. I can simplify this further. 6 can go into itself, and it can also go into 24 for a final answer of 1/4. So there'll be 1/4 ton on each foot of road. Okay. A piano teacher has 10.5 hours available to teach in a day. Each lesson will last 1.5 hours. How many lessons can the teacher schedule in one day? So the total amount of time that we have is 10.5 hours, and we're splitting that up into 1.5 hour sessions. Okay. So in this example, before we can even start dividing, we must convert our mixed numbers to improper fractions. 10 times 2 is 20 plus 1 is 21 over 2. 1 times 2 is 2 plus 1 is 3 over 2. And now we can apply our keep, change, flip. So 21 over 2 times 2 over 3 is equal to 42 over 6. 42 divided by 6 is equal to 7. So in a day, the teacher can have 7 sessions. Okay, thank you for watching and have a great day.